Welcome back to the Quackery, where I turn Taylor's meeting packets into plain language walkthroughs so you don't have to dig through it all yourself. Today, we're looking at the Moody Museum Advisory Board meeting, happening Tuesday, November 18th at 5:30 p.m. at the Dan Moody Museum. Let's wade through the agenda. The meeting opens with the call to order and confirmation that enough members are present to conduct business. Once that box is checked, the board heads into the consent agenda, the place where routine items get approved in one quick vote unless someone pulls something out. The first item is approving the minutes from the September 16th meeting, followed by the monthly review of the museum's two primary financial accounts, the Ned Trust and the Nancy Moody Fund. Here's the quick breakdown. The Med Trust entered October with about $233,000 and earned just over $800 in interest this past month. That brings the new balance to roughly $233,764. This long-term investment fund helps support preservation work, maintenance, and major museum needs. The Nancy Moody Fund is a smaller fund, began the period with approximately $24,786, earning $87 in interest. The current balance comes to about $24,874. This account often supports educational programming, events, and activities that highlight the Moody legacy. With the finances acknowledged, the board moves into the heart of the meeting. The first major item of the night is to introduce the new downtown director, Casey Baum. This is the person who will be working closely with tourism, downtown events, and heritage programming, all of which tie directly into how the Moody Museum reaches visitors. Expect updates about the soon-to-launch tourism website and how museum events may be featured on the broader community calendar. Moving from city staff to community partners, the board then receives the update from the Friends of the Moody Museum, the nonprofit group that handles fundraising and major initiatives. That report includes three big pieces. First, the Friends have already made the $45,000 down payment on the upcoming Dan Moody statue, with the bronze casting scheduled to be completed in March 2026. The project still needs $18,800 to finish the remaining costs. Second, the committee working on the History of Taylor exhibit room has met and begun planning significant improvements. They're looking at reorganizing and downsizing the current office space so it can be moved downstairs, clearing the way for a more polished, more immersive Taylor history room. And third, the recent author presentation by Joe Burgess is now posted on the Moody Museum's YouTube channel, giving the museum a stronger digital presence and making local history more accessible. Next, the board takes a moment to reflect on the ladies' tea held back in September, reviewing turnout, food prep, setup and cleanup, and the logistics of hosting an event during regular museum hours. This is where they talk through what worked and what might need tweaks for next year. From there, they move into planning for the Salute to the Troops program, one of the museum's annual community events. This usually includes local speakers, student performances, and historical ties to Taylor's military families. The board will decide whether to move forward with the proposed plans or make adjustments. Leaning into the holiday season, the next conversation centers on the Conservation and Heritage Society's Christmas Tour of Homes. The museum is considering participating again as a tour stop, which means decorating the building, arranging volunteers, often in period attire, and ensuring the museum fits smoothly into the citywide holiday route. Right after the ornaments come the roses, because the board will then turn to planning the Valentine's Gala, scheduled for February 12th, 2026, from 4 to 8 p.m. This event often doubles as a fundraiser and a visibility booster for the museum, so the board will look at tickets, music, decor, and volunteer coordination. The board then dives into the proposed rental guidelines for the Moody Museum grounds. This packet includes a full set of rules outlining who can rent the property, what types of events are allowed, how to protect the historic site, and what the fee and deposit structures might look like. It also lays out limits on things like amplified sound, decorations, alcohol permits, and waste cleanup, all designed to keep the grounds respected and well maintained. The board will discuss whether to adopt the guidelines as is or make changes. And finally, the board looks at the proposal to establish a dedicated Taylor, Texas history room, which would create space for broader storytelling beyond the life of Governor Dan Moody. This effort likely connects back to the office relocation conversation in the Friends update, and may require rearranging or reconfiguring existing exhibit areas. With that, the meeting wraps up, and the next scheduled gathering is January 20th, 2026. That's your Moody Museum Advisory Board preview, a mix of event reflections, heritage planning, and big steps toward preserving and sharing Taylor's story. Thanks so much for watching the Quackery and stand tuned in to what's happening here in Taylor. I'll keep breaking it all down so you never miss what's going on behind the agenda pages. The more ducks in the pond, the more voices in the conversation,